For today's lesson, we're going to be talking about predicate adjectives. So in your language journal, go to your table of contents. I'm about to fill up another page. Okay, last time we did predicate nominatives, and this time we're going to do predicate adjectives. We're going to be on page 69, and this is going to be our title. All right, so go ahead and you can go to page 69 and write this as your title. Okay, if you do not have a highlighter, you can pause and grab one. We'll use one before we're finished. Okay, so predicate adjectives are the other type of sentence completer that we have when we have a linking verb. Okay, last time we did a lesson, we talked about predicate nominatives and how it has to be a noun or pronoun, follow a linking verb, and it had the job of renaming the subject. Well, today as we talk about predicate adjectives, okay, our abbreviation is going to be PA. Okay, now, when we talk about the characteristics of a predicate adjective, obviously it is an adjective. It is not going to be a noun or a pronoun. It is going to be an adjective, but as we put this in our notes, we're not just going to call it an adjective. We're going to call it an adjective complement. Now let me say this. This is nothing new. This is not anything different that you're learning about an adjective. It is still a describing word that's going to be describing a noun. We're calling it an adjective complement because remember, a complement is a sentence completer. So it's going to be needed for the sentence to be complete and make sense. Okay, it's going to be in the predicate, and it's an adjective that's needed to complete the sentence. You're still going to be looking for an adjective, a word that's a describing word. Okay, so it's going to follow the same rules that we did with predicate nominative when we talked about the fact that it follows a linking verb, because predicate nominatives and predicate adjectives both follow linking verbs. Direct objects, indirect objects followed action verbs. These last two we've talked about follow linking verbs. Okay, now, if the predicate nominative had a special job, so does a predicate adjective. Okay, now predicate nominative renames the subject. A predicate adjective describes the subject. Okay, so if we had to say the special job of a predicate adjective, this would be it. Okay, so talking about predicate adjectives. Okay, they have to follow a linking verb, but this is the important word here, that it is describing the subject, not renaming it. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of examples. Okay, now, if you've ever been at the beach at sunset, or maybe sometimes at sunrise, sometimes the sky is just so beautiful and red looking. Okay, so we're going to use the sentence, the sky is red. Okay, so sky is our subject, is our linking verb, red is an adjective. Okay, now it is an adjective complement because imagine if red was not in the sentence. The sky is. That is not a complete sentence. We need something there to complete it. Therefore, we need a sentence completer, which means we need a complement. Okay, that's why we're calling this an adjective complement, because if it's not there, the sentence is incomplete. Okay, so red is an adjective that describes the sky. Okay, all right, so adjective in the predicate that is needed to complete the sentence. It follows a linking verb and it describes the subject. Okay, so we have a red sky. Okay, all right, let's do another one. Now, remember this, when we talked about our linking verbs, I'm going to come back. Okay, this is on page 67, a couple of pages back. Remember we had our silly, sometimes linking verbs that we have to be careful of, right? Because we have to test it to find out if it was action or linking. Okay, so our next example, I'm going to use one of those just to keep that in our mind, okay? Let's do another example. This milk tastes sour. Okay, milk is our subject. Tastes is our verb, but let's ask ourselves, is the milk doing something? No, the milk is not doing something. This is a linking verb that is connecting or linking milk to something that comes after it, okay? Since the milk is not actually doing something, that lets us know this is not an action verb. This is a linking verb, okay? So now sour, now we can follow through with this and say, okay, this is a describing word. Sour is describing the milk. So just like I could say, I have a red sky, now we can say that we have sour milk. It's a describing word, okay? So we can, that's one way we can test this out. Since this is describing the subject, we can take that word and put it in front of the subject and see if it describes it. Red sky, yep. Sour milk, yes, it is describing, okay? So predicate adjectives describe. Predicate nominatives that we talked about last time, a nominative renames and an adjective describes, okay? Nominative renames, an adjective describes, okay? So in your book on page 282, we have taken notes over the blue box at the top, okay? Adjective complement follows a linking verb, describes the subject. The sky is red. This milk tastes sour, okay? They did the same little test. Red sky, sour milk. Okay, so we're going to use page 282 for a little bit of practice. Okay, so on 282, we've got Think A. And there's a few in Think A, a few things that it asks us to do. Okay, so let's look at what it asks us to label. We're asked to label the linking verb, the subject, and the predicate adjective. Okay, we know that this is the predicate adjective page, and this is predicate adjective practice. So we know that we're going to have linking verbs because linking verbs are required for predicate adjectives, okay? So let's go through these and let's look at what we've got. We're going to mark our linking verb, our subject, and our predicate adjective. Now, what do you notice is something that they didn't ask us to even look for? They didn't ask us to look for prepositional phrases, but we're going to do that anyway, okay? So our teacher has been sick, okay? So teacher is the subject. Our verb here, we have a linking verb phrase, okay? Has been, all right? This is our linking verb. Now we're looking for an adjective that describes the teacher. So we have sick, and I'm just going to put a PA over it because that's our abbreviation for predicate adjective, okay? If we're marking adjectives, remember we circle them, but since this has the job of being a predicate adjective, which is an adjective complement, I'm just going to put PA. Now remember our little test, okay? Our teacher has been sick. Oh, that means we have a sick teacher, okay? That goes together in describing the teacher, okay? Number two, this pencil is dull. Pencil is the subject. Is the linking verb. A describing word that's describing the pencil, dull, predicate adjective. So that means I have a dull pencil. The adjective is describing the subject, which is what happens with a predicate adjective. Okay. 3, I have been very happy at this school. Okay. I is the subject. Have been is the linking verb phrase. Okay. Now, remember, and these sentences were so short, that's why I just didn't even do it, but so especially when you have a little bit longer sentence, after you find the subject and the verb, It's the perfect time to pause and ask yourself if you have any prepositional phrases. So I have been very happy at this school. At is a preposition. Ask yourself what? Well, at this school, there's your prepositional phrase. So when we're looking for our predicate adjective, we're not going to look in this prepositional phrase. So we're finding a word that describes I. I have been what? Okay, something that's describing me. Well, I have been happy. Happy is an adjective that describes I. Now, this one's a bit odd to test because we could say sick teacher, dull pencil. It sounds strange to say happy I, okay? It just doesn't flow right. But I'm talking about myself, and happy is an adjective that's being used to describe me and how I feel, so that's correct. Number 4, this picture looks too large for that wall. The sentence is about the picture. This is the picture what? Picture looks. Can a picture look around? No. Looks is one of those sometimes linking verbs, but since a picture cannot look around as an action, that lets us know that this is a linking verb. Okay. Look for prepositions. For. Okay. For what? For that wall. Okay, now we're looking for a describing word. Picture looks what? Large. Okay, picture looks too large. This test works great. If the picture looks too large for that wall, then I'm talking about a large picture. All right, this board feels smooth. Board is the subject. Feels, there's another sometimes linking verb. Can a board reach out and feel something? That'd be a no. Okay, that means this is a linking verb because I am linking or connecting something in the subject to something in the predicate. Okay, smooth is the word that describes the board. So this is my predicate adjective. Okay, this board feels smooth. Hey, guess what? That means I have a smooth board. All right, so I want you to practice the rest of these on your own. Okay, and I will send the correct answers to these in an email. Okay, but what I want us to look at real quick before I end this video is think B down here at the bottom. After you have finished think A, okay, think A is strictly about predicate adjectives. Think B is fantastic practice for the last 2 lessons together, okay? Because you're either going to be finding a predicate nominative, remember a nominative renames, or predicate adjectives, and adjectives describe. Look at the directions. Draw 2 lines under each linking verb. Draw 1 line under each subject. Write PN in the blank if the italicized complement is a predicate nominative. Write PA if it is a predicate adjective. So if you notice, in every sentence on this activity has a word that's in italics. That's the word that we're going to be deciding if it's a predicate nominative because it renames, or a predicate adjective because it describes. Okay, so they want us to draw 2 lines under the linking verb, 1 line under the subject. Okay, so let's look at our sentences. The wind was bitterly cold. This sentence is about the wind. Okay, our linking verb is was. Okay, now wind was cold. Now remember this. If it is a predicate nominative, it renames. If it is a predicate adjective, it describes. So the wind was bitterly cold. That means I have a cold wind. So that means I have a predicate adjective. Okay, this is an adjective that describes the wind. Habit is the result of practice. This sentence is about habit. Okay, habit is an abstract noun. Is, it's our linking verb. We have the prepositional phrase of practice, which means we don't pay attention to this while we're looking, okay, while we're looking for our predicate nominative or predicate adjective. Okay, habit is the result. Okay, so this one is a predicate nominative, okay, because a habit is a result. It's renaming it, okay, and that one's a bit, that I can understand that one being a little bit odd or a little bit tricky, okay, but this is a predicate nominative. Here's the reason that our test can help us with that. Here is a test that can help us with that. Remember up here we said we have a cold wind. Would it make sense to say we have a result habit? No, these two words are kind of renaming each other. Okay, so that's a big thing to help you out when you're testing this. The swing should be higher. Okay, this sentence is about the swing. Our linking verb phrase is should be. Okay, higher is what they have in italics. Okay, so is higher another name for the swing, or is higher describing the swing? Okay, it is an adjective that describes the swing. This is a predicate adjective. So if the swing should be higher, that means I would have a higher swing. Our host was a tall, thin man. Host is the subject, was is the linking verb, and then they want us to think about man. Okay, this is going to go back to the subject and it's going to make some kind of connection. Remember, this linking verb is connecting the subject and something in the predicate. Okay, so is man an adjective that's describing the host, or is it renaming? Okay, all right, so this is a predicate, what, boys and girls? A predicate nominative, because this is letting us know our host is a man. This is renaming the host and letting us know that he is a man. This is not an adjective, not an adjective. Okay. 5, the brave boy became a hero. Okay, the sentence is about the boy, and he became. Okay, is hero renaming the boy, or is hero an adjective that describes the boy? This is a predicate nominative because it is renaming. Remember, if we can write boy, or write or say boy equals hero, boy is hero. Host equals man, host is a man. Okay, habit is a result, habit equals result. That helps us find our predicate nominatives. That's our little hint for predicate nominatives. Our little hint for predicate adjectives: the wind was bitterly cold, so it was a cold wind. The swing should be higher, so we'll have a higher swing. All right, look at number 6. The ground was white with snow. Ground is our subject. Was is our linking verb. Oh, with what? With snow. So we're going to ignore that. Okay, so the ground was white. Well, it's not something that's renaming it. This is an adjective. This is a describing word. Okay, so that gives us a predicate adjective. The ground was white. That means I have a white ground. Okay, so use that to test what you're choosing and see how it works. Predicate adjectives are describing, and you'll be able to go back and say, I have a white ground, I have a higher swing, I have a cold wind. That's ways that you can test if it's a predicate adjective. Predicate nominative is what we did just a second ago. Boy is a hero, host was a man, habit is a result. All right, so this is just the beginning of Think B, okay? Now Think B is mixing it up, predicate nominatives, predicate adjectives together. Before you mess with this and finish this where you're kind of mixing them up, there's an assignment that goes with today's lesson about predicate adjectives, okay? So I don't want you to worry about finishing Think B right now, okay? Think B is some great practice when you feel very comfortable with predicate adjectives and predicate nominatives together. This is continued on the next page as well. For right now, don't worry about finishing this. I do want you to finish this before you do the sheet that goes with today's work. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. All right, so remember, predicate adjectives describe, predicate nominatives rename. Okay, so I'm going to show your notes again in case you need to go back and peek at any of these. But remember your test. The sky is red. It's a red sky. The milk tastes sour. It's sour milk. Okay, that'll help you a lot in finding your predicate adjectives.